You stood up for accountability when no one else did. But no one else has been held accountable, up or down the chain of command. Do you think your stance ultimately was effective?
People are asking me, look at the scoreboard, Stu. You're losing. You haven't affected change. Hey, I just got out of the Marine Corps. I've only been out for 2 weeks. Pete, bring me back on in a year, and I'll be pointing at the scoreboard. I fully intend to make change. I've been very saddened by the amount of people that think this is just the way it is and you can't make change. I believe we can make change, and I believe we will.
Tim said there's more accountability for a corporal who loses his rifle than a general who loses a war. Why is that inside today's military?
I think most Americans lionize generals. They want to show appreciation to generals. They think military generals are very smart. You just go back to Abraham Lincoln. Look at him. Look how many generals he had to fire. Look how many generals we fired in World War II. We've gotten away from that. I don't know why we've gotten away from that, but we need to get back to open criticism, taking a hard look at where we're failing and holding them accountable.
What's up, everybody? Makes Retired to Ojeda here, and this guy is clueless. He's wrong on almost every single subject that he talks about, and he claims to be an expert. Let me tell you something. This guy don't know his head from his ass, and I'm going to break it down for you why. First off, every soldier understands that there's a chain of command in the military. You do as you were told, and you shut up. We fight overseas so that we can have democracy here at home, but the military is no democracy. We are trained from day one to do as we are told. Of course, that is assuming that what you are being told is ethical and legal. In my 24 years of service, never once was I given an order that I did not follow. It wasn't about whether I liked it or not. It was my job to get the job done. That is what you do when you serve in the United States military, and everyone knows that. And if you can't do that, then you don't deserve the honor of wearing the uniform. Stuart Scheller is also going on every Fox propaganda show that he can, claiming that he is the most qualified foreign policy expert in the country. Heck, maybe even the world. No one knows more about foreign policy than Stuart. After all, he did read a couple of books about it, wrote a paper on it. According to Stuart, he and he alone can identify all the problems in our military. In fact, he can solve all of our foreign policy problems. So I guess we don't need the State Department anymore. We don't need the Secretary of State. We don't need the Ambassador to the United Nations or any diplomats. We have Stuart, and he can save us. You all know who that sounds like, right? The orange buffoon who said that he knows more about the military than all of our generals. These folks are two peas in a pod. They're arrogant con artists who are the only experts on looking foolish and tooting their own horns. Now, let me also add this. Who the hell do you think you are, Stuart? You think that the Secretary of the Navy was too scared to personally deal with your discharge papers? It could also be that you're not worth his time. You are a Marine that absolutely was looking for nothing but fame and personal glory. You don't deserve the time of day. That is going to be your legacy. A Marine that got his ass kicked out of the military and then thrown in jail where he belongs because you chose yourself over your country. Now, look, folks, the military is filled with jackaloons who think that they should be generals. And look, not all generals are perfect. Just take Michael Flynn. When you speak out, you need to have a good reason. That all stems from one thing, folks. President Biden ended America's longest war. President Biden put an end to the endless ATM for many powerful people, and that has angered a lot of them. What they are doing is trying to elevate Stuart over here to attack the generals and President Biden and to create a lot of smoke screens. That is what these people do best. They operate in the shadows, and they are desperate to suck us back into a war. And that will not happen as long as President Biden is our commander-in-chief, and that should make everyone sleep easy at night. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.